G'day everyone, welcome back to Zero Access Footy. We are here with episode number 32, our grand final review episode. We're going to have a look at the fantastic Saturday that showed us a lot, created some more legacy. I wouldn't say ruined anyone's legacy per se, but at the same time, definitely a story of two sides in terms of a final quarter at the very least. And we're going to go into more and more detail as we get stuck into it. But of course, I'm joined by the Premiership quarter, who's been doing well for himself as of recent. And I am...
One hit wonder.
Hey, it's better than no hits, mate. It's better than no hits.
Yeah,
but
well,
we're going to have a look at everything that's happened on the Saturday, the most recent, the 27th of September. Brisbane versus Geelong, the AFL Grand Final for 2025. So lots of things to get stuck into. And we'll start off with the first half. So final score doesn't really tell the whole game story.
no,
but
definitely not.
As you can see, Brisbane won by 47. Unfortunately,
Wowzers.
it's just a case of, like we said, score doesn't really show exactly what the game produced. It blew out to as big as 60 points or as close to
65 points at one stage.
It was very large, the difference. Ollie Dempsey with the laziest 4 goals. Probably the saddest 4 goals that I've ever seen.
They're all from the goal square. So
and he did not
cheapies.
celebrate any of them.
Don't blame it.
Maybe,
For the first
I
one.
was going to say, except for the first one, but the other 3, I'd imagine he wasn't too happy about. But
No.
we're going to have a look at everything that happened in this game because there are so many different moments that you really got to get excited about. And I think one of the big stories here is that Jeremy Cameron fractured arm. So that was something that he played through. And in the third quarter specifically, there was a moment that was really shows the character of Jeremy Cameron. But we'll get to that once we get to the second half. First half, though, it was really scrappy. It was like the best start to a grand final I like to see in that both sides. They're making mistakes. It's the way a grand final usually goes in the sense that you're kind of playing yourself into the moment. You're not quite there yet, even as much as you've prepared yourself for this game. You keep mentally putting yourself into packs, making clean possessions, whatever you can do to get yourself stuck into the moment. And we took about 10 minutes of game time.
It was a long time before Ollie Dempsey kicked the opener. It was a long time.
Yeah.
And I did not have him for first goal, unfortunately.
I don't know how many people had him. He's definitely one that pops up for a cheeky one every now and then.
He does.
I'm just more trying to think who was the favourite. Jeremy Cameron, I'm presuming, was the favourite.
Probably.
But there were loads he could have taken the first. Yeah. Again, Dempsey, who was the one. Stengel could have done it. Dangerfield could have done it.
Doesn't matter, but
Smith.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit boring.
It's first goals. Doesn't really matter. The sake of it kind of shows you how scrappy that first part was. And the pressure was good on both sides.
To me, it showed the fact that, because it was a one-on-one in the end, but it was a huge handball over the top that got him the goal, that Brisbane were sort of fumbling more than Geelong. Both teams were very fumbling because the pressure was right up there, and that's what you want to see in the grand final.
Brisbane's pressure rating was higher in that small period of time, at the very least. But I think it's because it lived in Geelong's forward 50 for the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, it did. And, I mean, Brisbane were inaccurate as well. Sort of, I think Zach Bailey kicked 4 behinds in the first quarter alone, which is the tied most ever, which is just ridiculous.
God. Brisbane fans were just throwing hands, punching the air.
It's their biggest problem over the last 3-4 years. And so, they were, I'm sure, shitting themselves saying, oh, it's bad.
If they lost this game, they would have been like that, absolutely.
He could have had the greatest first quarter for a grand final we've ever seen.
Yeah.
He could have had 4 goals in the first quarter. Brisbane...
were there any that were, not by any means a massive stretch to be a goal?
Not
because
that
I know
of.
for a fact there were some that were really... They have Zach Bailey goals. They're usually Zach Bailey goals at least.
This year he'd definitely been kicking them. But I think, for that first quarter, Geelong were able to deal with the pressure better than Brisbane. And you could see that with the fact that they were able to get over the top a few more times. But you could see with Brisbane that, for the most part, once they got out of that stoppage, their ball movement was still there, which is in the first qualifying final between these two teams. You sort of saw that pressure from Geelong. They were able to turn the ball over and get scores off of that. They weren't able to do that. It was just the pressure at the contest, and the coalface was so much stronger than it was in that original. And that leads into the second quarter, where my bold prediction was that, let me get it up right here, the first half is completely split each team sort of dominates the scoreboard in one quarter, and that leaves the first half completely tied. And it was. So the first half ended up 36-36, which is for the first time since 1909
Fantastic. Love to see it.
that a grand final has finished at the first half with the score being tied, which is just ridiculous.
It's exactly what I thought it was going to be. These two are so well matched. They've both played and won grand finals. They've both been in the moment before. I knew for at least the majority. I thought it was going to be the whole game. In honesty, I thought it was going to be a game where it's like neither team can get that finishing blow on them. Of course, Brisbane did, but this first half was exactly what I thought it was going to be. So much down to the literal kicks and handballs. That one went pretty viral in terms of people noticing that little fact. I think it was,
165 kicks, 165 disposals, the same kicks, the same handballs.
It was literally dead even.
Yeah.
And that's perfect to me. I love that. It's like, this is a fight. This is what you want to see. All those years of massive thumping. Last year, I was really hoping that because of how blown out that one was, Geelong would put up a better fight. And I think they did. Obviously, a lesser margin, but yeah, we'll get into that when we get to the second half. But general standpoint of the first half, fantastic grand final football.
Exactly what you want to say. Exactly what you want to say.
In terms of your bold prediction, I have a little bit of pushback to that because you had mentioned that it was a tale of two quarters. In that one team would dominate and the other team would dominate in the quarters. I don't think anyone dominated.
Neither team dominated, but on the
neither
scoreboard.
team. Yeah, I get what you're saying. It ended in the result you had predicted, but the way it got there was different.
Yeah, completely. But I think,
it is very good that you managed to. It was exactly even. It's hard to get much more better of a prediction than that, really.
Yeah, not 100%. I think it only got to like an 8-point margin or a 11-point margin through the first half for either team. So neither team really stamped upon themselves, but that does lead to the second half where we saw Lachie Neale substituted on, and what happened in the premiership quarter. Tell me, Rhys. Tell me.
You like your little self promotion there. Yeah, so Mr. Premiership quarter here was really excited to let us know that the Brisbane Lions won it from there. It actually remained fairly even. I'm looking here. The goal that really broke it out, and I wish he got more recognition, but to be fair, a lot of players could get this Norm Smith that Will Ashcroft got. I think a lot of players could. But Charlie Cameron kicked the next 2 goals to open it out, and then the floodgates opened. Lachie Neale's big goal from 50 from the sub.
Yeah.
Like, that's when you knew, okay, Brisbane are really making a move here. Geelong have to respond. But they didn't manage to score at all after that Charlie Cameron goal, so they weren't able to stem the tide. They just begged for the siren, and it ended with a 19-point lead going into the final quarter. And from there, the story went Brisbane. They had their moments really early to kick it out. 2 points here.
Yeah, Cam
Zach
Rayner.
Bailey and Charlie Cameron both missed.
Cam Rayner's huge tackles in the last quarter really set the tone as well.
Yeah, that too.
It just showed that whilst he didn't have a good game at all, he just absolutely whacked Bailey Smith. And our producer, who's a Bulldogs fan, I'm sure must have enjoyed that moment a lot.
Yeah, Charlie Cameron kicked a goal to get the quarter started. I missed that. But yeah, they had their moments. The Mark Blitzarv's goal, that one was exciting because I thought Jasper Fletcher must be killing himself on the inside, because if they were to lose that game, the momentum could probably be shifted from there. But it was a goal that was given. They didn't get too crazy about it, but it was nice to know they got a sniff. I think they all just felt that they almost eased themselves into thinking, all right, the flow is going to come back our way, that they didn't work for it. And it comes down to the legs of Lachie Neale. That super sub, the final super sub that I think we're ever going to see, because the sub rule is presumably finishing up this season. The final super sub we'll ever see, and Lachie Neale did it in a way that, God, how impactful was that, man? Yeah, the goal in the third quarter, but the fourth quarter as well. His clearance work, second most clearances on the ground.
Yeah, he had 5 clearances and 5 touches in the first part of in the last quarter.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
It just showed you how valuable that man is.
And he set up Will Ashcroft, who ended up winning the Norm Smith medal as well. He's polled 27 out of 30 possible votes in the Norm Smith voting in his 2 grand finals.
insane. I'm
Ridiculous.
I'm shocked it's that much dominance. I really did not think. In my head, I thought Will Ashcroft probably is like a second or third. I had ideas of Hugh McCluggage or Charlie Cameron because they do look at stats. Sure, impact works, and Ashcroft is at the very top, but like Harris Andrews did really well. Charlie Cameron's impact was really, really hard to falter. Hugh McCluggage with 26 and 4 goals? Like, just looking at that, despite the fact it was in garbage time, we both know that.
He had 14
He
goals.
did it with a tag.
The tag got dropped in the fourth quarter, which is why it went nuts. I'm not considering Hugh McCluggage.
Which is a really weird call.
No, they had to free up because Charlie Cameron was where Mullen went to. And
Yeah,
he was the game breaker in the end.
I understand. Charlie Cameron, I mean, for me, that's more of a reason why Charlie Cameron could have got it. It's like he was one goal off.
That snap that he had as well, he almost kicked. I think the one thing I want to say is the Brisbane's ability to score from stoppage is just so many levels above the rest. Like, they had 4 goals from centre clearances to 1. It was 6 goals from throw-ins to 1.
Oh, throw-ins.
It was ridiculous dominance. And you look at the game against Collingwood as well. Yeah. That was where they broke it open. It's the likes of Bailey getting on the move, Rayner just being a force, McCluggage and Ashcroft also scoring from there as well. And then it's just ridiculous the amount of plays that they go through there.
Well, I believe it was mentioned, the stat, that game is the most goals from a side, the highest score ever kicked from stoppages in a grand final.
Yeah.
So it just shows you where they were most dominant. And that's where they take the game by the horns, really, is when they work the best. They go straight through you. And I really, really can't, undersell how important Lachie Neale... That's fresh legs, despite the injury. I bet he must have been so fit and firing to go if after a calf injury, he's all of a sudden said, oh man, I may be able to go for the grand final here.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, the grand final probably is the inspiration for you to go, all right, maybe the calf's not as bad. But the fact he impacted it in the way he did, the fact that he managed to bring fresh legs despite a presumed injury that was going to stop him. If you had not mentioned it at all, you would have thought that they just decided to bring him tactically in as a super sub. Yeah, he looked flawless.
Yeah, the final thing I want to say before we get to Macca's Man of the Week,
Ooh!
Grand Final edition.
Macca's Man!
We were speaking about stoppages, and Dangerfield against Hawthorn was the stoppage winner. He did everything that set Geelong up to win in that game. And I thought Brandon Starcevich wasn't with him in the stoppages, but he was with him elsewhere. And even after he got concussed, which I'm very unfortunate, and prayers with him, and he's all good. It's just Dangerfield couldn't get near it. And one of your bold predictions was a star would have under 15 touches. Patrick Dangerfield.
Yeah.
And so your bold call was very spot on in the end.
Yeah. I was specific though with who it was, and I picked Levi Ashcroft.
You said you didn't specifically say Levi. It could be someone like Levi.
Okay. No, that's fair.
The bold prediction was someone doesn't live up to the expectations, like someone getting under 15.
I just remember mentioning Levi's name, and I think I said under 15 disposals. He had 17, but I'd say he was very impactful, despite him being really close. Yeah. Oh my God, jeez.
Ripper.
Just the Ashcroft family is probably in an all-time family form. I don't know how you could possibly go about describing how impactful one line of family has been to a club.
He's got good testicles. Will and Levi.
Not us. That's messed up, man. I was trying to be nice about it. I guess you just went straight to the point. Hey, I'll give it to you for being just for real and not playing any.
Give it to me.
No, not playing any funny buggers, I guess. But Macca's Man of the Week. Macca's Man of the Week always goes a little differently. I like to go to the guys who aren't getting all the major praise, and I've mentioned a few names already. I've gone 1 vote Will Ashcroft because I think if he wasn't on the podium, it would be a bit strange. 2 votes Charlie Cameron.
He was the game breaker.
I honestly am thinking about putting him in 3 because you mentioned Hugh McCluggage, who is my 3.
I'd switch it.
I'd switch Cameron and McCluggage. I think McCluggage, 4 goals in 20, despite it was in garbage time. It's the fact that on the biggest of stage to break out in a quarter like that is impressive no matter what. It doesn't matter if it's garbage time. It's your grand final, the game that you probably should be piling on points.
It's impressive, but I don't think it was
I don't think it's
important to the game as Charlie Cameron.
As Charlie Cameron's,
Because
absolutely.
When they needed a match winner in front of the ball, because Jack Henry played great on Logan Morris, Ty Gallup couldn't really get into the game at all. And then McInerney thought you can't really rely on to kick goals. He was the one that kicked 3 goals within a 10-minute span and really broke the game open. So I think all credit goes to Charlie because he's had a bad year.
He's had an up and down year. There's been mostly bad games, but he's had some goods. So there was a reason they kept him in there and they stuck with him. They knew what his best looked like. They were just hoping they'd get it, and they got it in spades in this one. So 1 vote for Will Ashcroft. I know he's probably crying himself to sleep tonight about that one, but 2 votes, Hugh McCluggage, 3 votes, Charlie Cameron. So Brisbane clean sweep. Donkey of the week. This was just an outright because the clip is really funny. The clip is really funny. It's the Cat Man, whoever that bloke is. I don't know his full name. I don't even know if he's given people his full name for his sake.
Probably not. I really hope he doesn't.
Can he go out in public? I'm sure the face paint and all that only comes on during game days, but he looks like a crazy bloke.
Yeah, I've seen a photo of
fun bloke, fun fella.
I've seen a photo of him where he wasn't wearing anything, and he has a certain tattoo on his body that I don't agree with.
That's it. Well, I mean, at least he's notable.
He thinks he's outside the law and he can do whatever the hell he wants. And who's to blame him when you go for Geelong? Down in Geelong, you can do whatever you want because I don't know.
You reckon he's sponsored by Cotton On?
I don't know, but if you didn't see, Tanner Bruin was in there in the grand final after the game. So he was on the ground. Let's leave it there. Let's go on to the next segment.
Hold on, but there's a few more in terms of the Catman himself.
Is there really things
a few
to say?
No, but a few of the things he said were funny. I think he said we're a sovereign team and they don't follow the rules. He thought that because they won the qualifying, they had to get credit. And because they won the prelim, it means the credit came into this one. So the fact they lost, they need to replay the game.
Oh, it's a draw. We got to replay the game. Fuck off. No one cares. No one cares.
Just a whole bunch of cope, really. I don't really feel bad for him, if I'm being completely honest.
Either. Fuck Geelong. Let's move on.
It's funny. It's a funny man.
Go drink your milk, you cat. Go drink it.
Wow, big and tough words here from the Premiership quarter. Big stuff. Really going after the ones who deserve it. Yeah,
moving on.
Let's grade the league. We've got all 18 teams that we're going to go through here today in terms of how their season's gone. There's going to be some obvious ones. There's going to be some contentious ones, I'm sure, as we go through the list of different teams. But starting off, do we want to go in alphabetical order? So top to bottom? Adelaide starting, West Coast finish?
Bottom of the ladder and then move up.
Bottom of the ladder. Okay, no worries.
Yep.
Let me just quickly get to the ladder then. But yeah, that means we start with West Coast. Probably one of the obvious ones. Big old F.
Yep.
Big old F minus. There was a few people who were contentiously giving them a D because it's they re-signed Harley Reid. Look how good this is. And at least we still got a future and all that. But matter of the fact is, you were very, very close to a winless season if it wasn't for the St Kilda game.
Yeah.
Yeah, good job, mate. Well done. But 1 win, 60 percentage points, losing their captain. There's more off-field stuff that's happened. Harley Reid's behaviour as well was always brought up. I don't think it's anything really. I think it's just a passionate player.
Yeah.
But there's the thought of maybe his personality won't fit this team. But they've got a good draft hand, presumably, coming up that they are going to use. Who's the favourite right now to go number 1? Is it Cooper Duff-Tyler still?
There's a bit of talk about it where Carl Toomey is very confident in Duffma, which is Willem Dersma and Cooper Duff-Tyler. But it's whether West Coast potentially trade out of pick 2 and then also move on and go for someone else. Dyson Sharp's been mentioned as in an underball winner.
Yeah, because since we've had Dylan Alexander on this podcast, a lot has changed. A lot has changed.
Even someone like Sullivan Roby has bolted up all the way into the top 5 or top 6.
Jeez.
And he was not seen in the top 30 over a month ago.
Yeah.
So Clayton Oliver levels and bolting in their draft year. And to be honest, he looks seriously good. He looks AFL size, which is really impressive.
Fantastic. Well, we'll have to wait and see who he goes to because Still got plenty of time. And, of course,
Yep.
trade period's very close to beginning as well. So it'll be nice to see what West Coast does.
There's
But
going to be...
for 2025, it's an F.
It's an F. It has to be. I think you look at some of their players, like none of their young players really had that, okay, we know exactly what we're going to get from you in 5 years. I mean, Brady Hoff had a good year, I guess, moving into the midfield at times, but Harley Reid certainly didn't take a step. Elijah Hewitt was able to play, which is good. Ruben Jinby had to be forced into a full back position, which he's like 192 centimeters going up against like Sam Darcy.
Yeah,
it's
tough.
not what you want
Yeah,
at
it's
all.
very tough.
And so I suppose that there's obviously a key position player that they need to go for. But aside from that, like Jake Waterman, another injury, Oscar Allen, like co-captains leaving. Liam Baker had a good year, but Jack Graham really not. I mean, he wasn't worth anything in the first place.
Yeah.
So like, it's just an F, and they're not getting in anyone other than Brandon Starcevich, who has got issues about his future in his career. And I mean, they're losing a first round pick from 3 years ago in Campbell Chester. Like, there's not to celebrate.
Yeah. We went a bit into West Coast there, so we'll try and speed it up a bit for the rest of them. Richmond.
B+.
Oh, that's a bit high for me. I'd go C+. Because realistically, they're second last. You do have picks 3 and 4 now.
I'm basing it off of what were the preseason expectations for this team. And that they were win at least one game, because a lot of people said they could go winless.
But I also think of the Sam Lawler injury, the fact that he looks a little injury prone. He's already had a few.
They took like 8 players in last year's draft, and I think at least 7 of them debuted.
Yeah, which is good. Sure, you've done what you've needed to. But at the same time, you still finished second last.
There was if they had won 3 games, I would have given them a C. But I think because they won those extra couple games, that really separated them from a bottom spot, I think is what gives them a B+. Because
all they've really done is put themselves in the 14 to 17 range. That's not something because you're very close to an A.
I'm basing it off of what the preseason expectations. A lot of people struggled to see them winning multiple games. They won 5. That is a huge improvement. So that's a B+. It's not an A-level season because they weren't good. But I think when you consider that GWS game that they almost won, there are others as well. I think Port Adelaide, they almost won. There were games where they could have won even more. North Melbourne, I think they almost beat you guys as well.
Yep.
So there were games that they could have got 7 or 8 wins. No one had them more than 3. So I think definitely it's a good season from Richmond.
I agree it's a good season, but I wouldn't go as far as B's. I'd go C+, because B's makes me think they got out of the bottom 4.
I'm basing it simply off of preseason expectations.
Fair. North Melbourne. This one, preseason. If we're going off preseason expectations, the hope was they'd get out of the bottom 4.
I think it was right between where we had them. Like, you had them 10th. I think I had them 15th. So
that was their expectations for sure. So, like, between the top of bottom 4 and pushing finals, it's just so optimistic. So, I'd go in the Ds for these guys. I think there's good spots here and there. Moments that were exciting, like Sheasel's game-breaking record, the fact that
Paul Curtis this season.
Paul Curtis has had a fantastic season despite the suspensions. Luke Parker's been a nice pickup. Sherry's been another solid year.
Yep.
There's good. Cooper Trembath's another one that I'm really happy that we've picked up and put on in the last little bit, but you still didn't get the results that you wanted. The only draw with the premiers of the season as well. That was a funny little tidbit. North had a weird season, but I definitely think they're ruining this season because I think this is a missed opportunity to really show that you're stepping up.
You were a middle of the path offense team according to Wheelo ratings, which I think they use champion data stuff. But you were 17th defensively, and I think that continues to be your biggest issue.
And I feel like it's going to keep being the issue because who are we? Jake Lever has been one that maybe we're linked to, maybe.
Yep.
If we could possibly trade for him, I don't think he's going to single-handedly fix everything up.
No
way. So I don't see this team being anything more than a bottom dweller until they fix that backline because everything else I think is upward trending. It's just that backline that holds them back, and it goes to show because they 2,365 points given up in a season where the one-win team only gave up 80 more points.
It's averaging 100 points against.
Yeah, not good. Not good at all.
At all.
Essendon, what a weird season. I want to give them an F, but it's almost out of their doing.
You've got to give them an excuse which takes them up to probably a
And here's the thing. I would have, if it wasn't for the Zach Merritt stuff. That makes me want to give it an F. They were about to lose their captain.
We don't know for sure if they are.
I
But
get
I'd
that,
assume
but the
you'd-
whole
assumption
change
will-
up this year, if you look at this year in a whole, we're going to look in hindsight and go, Jesus, what a crazy year that was.
Consider off-season stuff. There's every chance you give it an F. I think I can
Maybe
see that.
in a safe pick, we go D- because, or D,
I'll
somewhere
go
around
D-.
there.
I'll go D minus
Because-
I'll go D minus.
So much of it became an injury problem throughout the season. Then the rumblings of Zach Merritt's leaving and the whole thing with the board, and now they've changed president. You hope it's a start and you can look at the end of 2025 and go, that was the first step to an improved side. But for the year specifically, they're going to look at 2025 and go, geez, that was an awful year.
There's nothing really you can take out of this year. And because of all the injuries, it completely affects next year as well. So there's nothing you can take out of 2 years. So it's certainly not a good season from Essendon.
The positive is for Essendon, I guess, they've got Jordan Ridley. Jordan Ridley has said that he's going to stay. So,
Yay.
Melbourne, another one where you think not just their season in play, but they'll. Is it safe to say
Sacking their
probably
coach.
going to lose? Sacking the coach is another thing.
Yeah.
Probably going to lose Petrarca.
Losing Petrarca, there's every chance.
Oliver, maybe.
May's leaving as well. Jake Levers, there's rumours of. I dare say
It's
Oliver
just bad.
stays.
It's bad because it looks like they want to start bringing youth in, but you've got no high-end picks. You gave them to Essendon.
Unless you get 2 firsts for Petrarca,
Yeah.
you're not going to have many picks unless you get.
You just wish they
stuff
didn't have to
for
do that.
May or Lever, exactly. And so, I think it's hard. I don't think it's an F season because it's not a horrible season. They still had a couple good performances there.
Here's the thing.
But I don't think it's good enough to give it a C.
No, it's not a C, not at all. But my thinking is, I feel like there's a few teams who've had F-type seasons, but so far we've only given it to West Coast, and I don't see any other team here that we can justify giving an F. Even Carlton.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe I'm tempted to give F for Carlton, but we'll get to them in a sec. For Melbourne, I'm honestly considering F because of the loss of coach. They're about to lose all their players. They've forgotten, self-admitted from Max Gawn, they forgot how to win. How crazy is that from the 2021 premiers? They've forgotten how to win.
You know what? Let's do it. Let's give it an F.
I think an F is more than justified.
Their backline is old as shit. They're about to lose Judd McVeigh. Christian Petrarca is going to leave. Their midfield is horrible. And their forward line still don't have an answer up there aside from Cozzy Pickett. Let's give it an F.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Port Adelaide.
That could be an F.
Very close. With the way this season finished, I don't kind of want to see it as an F, but everything kind of points to it. The fact they gave up a draft pick to Gold Coast for Lukosius, who's been injured.
It was just a nothing year.
It really
we
was.
spoke about it for Essendon, but Ken Hinkley just spent a year doing nothing.
Well, no, he spent a year being stressed out of his mind because he knew that his career is very, very big stretch because I think he's going to come back into the coaching ranks or mentoring ranks at some point. But wasted is the best way of putting it because Port, they also were dealt their fair share of injuries. They were one of the least skilled teams in the competition, which is crazy to think with a team with Rosie, Butters, Horn Francis, all those guys. How are you the least skilled team in the competition?
They were rated 15th offensively and 14th defensively. That's basically a bottom 4 team.
Exactly.
You were not good.
So, the few positives were there. Mitch Georgiades had an outstanding season. He did really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
The final game, Travis Boak and Ken Hinkley being sent
they
out
have
in a
that.
fantastic.
They do have that.
So they're going to have that great memory at the very least. For me, it's C- or D+. C- is the positive outlook. D+ is the negative outlook because D+ is one where it's like you were expected
I'd
to.
give it a D+.
In your case, you thought they were going to be in finals. I think you had them top 4 or something like that. But
Let's move on.
yeah, Port, not a great season. St Kilda, it got better and better. I think this is high.
I'm giving it a D+. I give it a C because Naz stayed, but
I'm giving it a C+.
Yeah.
Off-season, all the off-season moves.
If you want to include the off-season,
It's hard
to
to look.
a C.
Yeah, look, it's hard to really go out and say that a team is an off-season winner because that's a dangerous term.
Yep.
The winners of the off-season is really dangerous because you don't know if you win the off-season until the next season starts. So we'll find out. But Naz is presumed to be a home run hit because you re-signed him after.
He's the home run hit.
Exactly.
He's the Babe Ruth.
There you go. There's a little hopefully they bring that on. Maybe you start wearing Babe Ruth caps or something like that. I don't know.
He is the Pele of AFL.
Fair enough. Right, yeah, sure.
He is the Wilt Chamberlain. Actually, no, he's going to be the Bill Russell because he'll give us 11 premierships.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, you haven't had... You've probably had 11 premiership losses, maybe.
Will Ashcroft's got the same amount of Norm Smith titles as
He's got the same. He's got more Norm Smiths
than
you.
He's got the same. He's got the same. He doesn't have more. He's got the same.
But yeah, 2025. I think I'm tempted to go C+. Okay. I'm really tempted. I think we could even it out at C minus.
Okay, fair enough.
Carlton.
D.
Yeah, I'm thinking D as well.
They had a lot of,
but there were so many moments.
Actually, I'd almost consider an F when you consider they had their president give a dick pic live on Twitter.
Oh, let's go.
So
no, that's an A.
God, they're gonna have a mass exodus potentially this offseason.
Yeah.
So I think you could consider this an F season.
If we're gonna go with the same for Melbourne, yeah, could definitely go with Carlton because of
traded
the fact
away
that
their best small forward, got in pick 3, got an ACL injury.
Yeah, it's a very, very bad start to your season for sure. Add on top of that the Richmond game. Add on top of that the North game. Add on top of that Michael Voss's seat basically being on fire the entire season.
They had to spend 5 hours choosing if he was the right coach. F season.
F season. Sydney. It was F to start.
C minus.
C
maybe
minus, C minus, C. I'm around there because they showed really good signs towards the end of the season. The problem is they were so hampered with injuries to begin with.
And also they were playing around with stuff that they just shouldn't have as well.
I think 2025 is going to be a little road bump.
It's a learning curve.
I think they're going to be finalists again next season. It's just more a matter of fact of keeping your best players healthy. They're very top heavy. That's the other thing I'll say because we realised very quickly this team loves Errol, loves Chad, loves Isaac.
Papley.
Not having Logan McDonald, who isn't the biggest thing in the world, but the fact you were relying on Tom McCartan in the forward?
They tried to swing him forward, but I mean,
exactly
on Jack Buller, who's played 5-10 games,
and that was enough for him to say, "I want to go back to Victoria," which is quite funny. But yeah, positives. There were positives in that. They beat Brisbane at the Gabba. That was a good game.
Okay, well, let's move on then.
Yeah,
if that's your only positive. Okay.
No, there were more than that, but it's one of their biggest positives. Western Bulldogs.
Can we give this like an F/A? Because they were they were an F against the good teams, and they were an A against the bad teams.
That's basically exactly right. I'm more tempted to go down the ladder with these guys because this should have been a finals team.
Had to have been.
It was very much out of their control at times, but they proved they couldn't beat top 8 sides outside of GWS, who went out round 1 of the finals, week 1 of the finals. So how much can you really say they deserved a final spot if they could only beat a team who went out in round 1?
I don't think you can. Like, they were rated as a top 4 team according to a lot of people.
Yeah. And realistically, they should have been there. They should have been there. The fact that they had Bont out to start, and then as soon as Bont came back, Darcy went out for a stint. Sure, you could mention that, but they still had loads and loads of talent. And look, thankfully for the Dogs, it looks like they're trying their hardest to plug the back line. Not to say Buku Khamis was the thing that they needed so desperately, but he's now off to Carlton, presumably.
Yep.
So the Dogs, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with them.
I think a C minus.
Go C minus.
I think a C minus.
Yeah. If you're really feeling negative, I think a D plus can be argued. But C minus, because 9th, their season statistically is fantastic. They didn't make finals though.
Yep.
How the hell do you do that?
Yeah. Hawthorn, I'm assuming, is next.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting one because
I'd give it an A.
They made a prelim. Their expectations were to be better than what they were last year, which on the ladder they weren't. But according to wins, they were, because they had 15 wins as an 8th place team, which is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
They went all in because they brought in Battle, they brought in Barras. They're continuing to do that with going for merit. The worst grade you can give is a B+.
For sure.
The worst grade, but I'd probably give them an A.
I'm giving them an A.
I think so. There was some teething problems early, even though their win-loss record wouldn't suggest that. But then you saw in the middle time where they were waiting on players to get back in form. Will Day continues to not be able to play, but that's just unfortunate. So I think give it an A, and we can move on. A lot of these final teams, you sort of know what you're getting from them.
Yeah. Gold Coast.
A+.
A+. Yeah, has to be.
Brownlow medal winner, got the grand final sprint winner. What else is there to talk about?
I like how the grand final sprint winner was mentioned after the Brownlow. Yeah, that's exactly what I think of when I think
And then you got their finals win.
Yeah, and then their finals wins,
Yeah.
and David Swallow's nice little moment to finish off his career.
Yeah.
Just, a season of history for Gold Coast. Fantastic stuff. Freo. I'm leaning Bs.
15-win season. Lost to a team that had never won a final or never played a final.
The thing is, your expectation of them was probably not week 1 exit, was it?
No.
I think this team should have been
I think
at
it's
least
a B
week 2.
minus. I think a B minus is fair.
B minus to B for me. Yeah, I'm thinking probably more B. 6th place is nice. 16 wins as well is fantastic. Lots of positives here and there. My only concern is that Caleb Sarong seems to fold under tags. I'm not sure. Like
A little bit. And
you can't hold a player back. Great players, and it was heard. I heard it first with Hugh McCluggage, and now I think with everyone because it's basically true. Good players don't get held back 2 games in a row. And Caleb didn't really, but when he was held back, he'd have less than 10 disposals. He'd really get done. I think against Sydney, when they lost to them, he was tagged, and 9 disposals I think he had, which is insane for Caleb Sarong's talent. So Fremantle have things to work on. Definitely disappointing end to the season, but at least you can say they're on the right track.
I think a B minus is about right.
Okay, I'm going to go B, but same, but different. GWS, similar vein, isn't it?
Very similar. I'd probably give it a B minus as well. I think a lot of the beats we talk about with Fremantle, you can add on to GWS.
Yeah, I'm leaning B minus in this one as well. Maybe C plus if you're feeling really negative on these guys because they finished 5th on the ladder, got to play a home final and lost it in pretty.
Yeah.
Was it embarrassing? I don't know if it was embarrassing.
I think the fact that they rely so much on playing 1.5 insane quarters is just
unsustainable.
It's unsustainable. You can't continue that. So I think there's issues there. So I think, about a B minus works.
Yeah.
Again.
Collingwood. We hit the top 4 now. This was like an up, then down, then up, then down type of year for them. It was one where you thought they're a shoo-in for the grand final, and then they're massive slump, and then toppling Adelaide at their home ground, and you're like, oh, for God's sake, they're about to do it again. And then their loss to Brisbane. So
A minus.
Yeah, A minus to B plus because I think they're premiership contenders. And they were hoping for a premiership this season, especially halfway through. You were thinking shoo-in for grand final, favourites for premiership. So I'd actually go B plus.
I think if you consider their preseason expectations, what was it?
They
It was to make a prelim. I think.
They didn't make finals, so a prelim they'd be happy with for sure. But with the surely they adjusted their expectations at the halfway point and went, all right, we are all in grand final, premiership or bust type situation.
Yeah.
Because they had 10 points. They were 10 points clear, and you finished 4th on the ladder and didn't make the grand final.
Yeah.
To me, it's a pass. B plus is a good grade.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's a lot of pride that you take in making a prelim, but it was right there for them. So an A for me would feel like if they made the grand final. But making the prelim is something to be proud of. It's just not their ultimate goal.
Okay. I think that's fair. Yeah.
Brisbane Lions, don't need to explain too much.
A plus.
A plus plus.
Yeah.
Repeat.
Geelong.
Bloody hell. Geelong A plus.
Yeah, I think so too.
A plus. They basically played
Yeah.
every quarter of the season well, except for the final quarter of the grand final. That's how it feels, at least. There are definitely some games like that one at GMHBA where they lost to Brisbane. That was a tough one, the whiteout, which was funny. But then they go and beat them in the qualifying final.
Yeah. And then
lose in the grand final. So
no team has the expectation of winning a grand final.
Yeah.
I think making it maybe, but I'd say prelim should, for the top teams, the prelim should be the expectation. they surpassed that A+.
A+ for me. Yeah. I give it to him despite the loss.
Yeah.
And then Adelaide.
I
God, this is a
think
hard one.
This is the most interesting one.
Probably most contentious. You're going to get a whole bunch of different things because...
Regular season, A++.
Yeah, exactly.
Top of the top. Final series, D.
D to F.
Like, Mark Keane.
If the Riley Thilthorpe hand pass from 15 metres out is all you need to show someone and go,
The Riley
that man was
O'Brien
not
kick.
ready for finals.
The Riley O'Brien kick.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm still going into A's because this is a team who was... They finished bottom 4 last year, did they not?
they did.
First, home prelims... Sorry, not home prelim. Home qualifying, home semi, 2 finals. Sure, I'm probably more on the A- side of things, but A's, I'm in there, 100%.
Based off of preseason expectations, A+.
Yep.
I think if you consider it halfway through the year, you'd say it's probably an A when you consider, okay, they're a really good team, but we don't know if they're top 4 yet. And then you consider at the end of the season before final series, you'd probably consider it a D. So I think you'd probably give it an A overall grade.
Fair.
Because I think when you consider the finals...
I think they just wish they made the prelim.
2
really.
home finals, I think, is the issue. They lost 2 home finals.
Yeah. They didn't play into my A- pick, but it definitely helps my A- pick that they lost 2 home finals in a row. So, look, be happy with where you're at and take the finals experience. But, like, that was an opportunity for Tex. That was a big opportunity for Tex. And the fact that he's lost a year in his last few. There's been rumblings from commentaries and all sorts saying that
he doesn't know. If
he
he's
may
gonna
not.
play.
Yeah, he may
He
not
has
play
said it.
again. He may not fit in the team anymore. There may be like younger talent who are trying to rise up that end up just taking a spot. We don't know how sharp a fall off he could have. The hope is that he just keeps playing some great football because a lot of people did not think he'd make it this far. So, well done to Adelaide on the great season. And that is the entire league ranked.
We're now getting into the second greatest segment of this podcast behind Behmy's TT in Behmy's D&D. Behmy's deal or no deal.
You sound like a big nerd when you say, welcome to Behmy's D&D.
Behmy's TT. No. It's Behmy's D&D.
We are going into today's campaign.
Dungeons and Dragons.
All right.
Stranger Things.
So, as per usual, the last few weeks, we're checking the most recent teams on the out and on the positive out in this sense. The 2 grand finalists, Geelong and Brisbane. Let me hear them.
Start with Geelong first. Obviously, the big man from a big team. We're going to start with 2 key position players. Rowan Marshall as a ruckman because Ray Stanley should not be there. Ironic given they're 2 Saints players. A bit of irony there. I think given what we saw from the stoppage dominance, I think it's pretty much needed that they need someone to help in that. And that is Rowan Marshall. And then also Charlie Curnow. They've got to be chips in, I think, with this because when you consider everything, I think Shannon Neal hasn't proven to be able to step up in a final yet. And Jeremy Cameron obviously had the arm, but his final series wasn't his best this year for sure.
Yeah.
So I think those are 2 pretty obvious ones.
I think, look, Jeremy Cameron will always kind of be a number 1. I think if Curnow comes in and somehow finds his form again, if they were to land him, it'd be a 1A, 1B type thing. It would.
I think it's more so the play style because Jez is not a contested, I'll beat you in the air player.
Yeah.
That's not his job.
He can also move positions. He's been on the wing a few times this year.
He can. So I think when you bring in someone who can do that, because Shannon Neal, you want him to get in there, but he's just not there yet. And I think Charlie Curnow adds that ability to crash backs, and I think that complements them well. And then the last player, I think, is a midfielder. They've got interest in James Worpel, which is obviously going to be held over. There's every chance he gets there. I've just heard that it's expected that after the Hawthorn BNF, he is going to let the Hawks know that he wants to go to Geelong as a free agent. So I feel like that one's just about done and dusted unless something miraculous happens. Yeah, and I think it's pretty much just that prototype, that sort of clearance midfielder.
Geelong is very obvious when it comes to free agents. It's almost always the top of the class. The exception this time is Zach Merritt, but like they've got basically their hands in the cookie jars of every single team. If any player is restless, Geelong is a place that they may want to go to because close to a beach, their own little perks of having their own home ground, the culture there, the winning culture, the continuous winning culture. There's a lot that brings people down to Geelong. So, again, if we to kind of link it back to the previous segment, they have an A season. They had an A+ season, and they're going to continue to have one, even if they didn't walk home with silverware.
Yeah. Brisbane, 3 players again. It's a tough one because they're pretty much getting Allen and Draper, so I sort of didn't want to include them. I've gone with a couple defensive medium-sized players because I think Jack Payne should be back next year. I don't know when exactly. That's sort of based off of his recovery.
Yeah.
But I think Lester and Gardner they're getting older. They're both over the bad age of 30. So sort of towards the end of their career. I think if they still want to continue to win, you could go for someone like Mitch McGovern. He's just a free agent. You'll be able to pick him up for cheap.
That's a contentious one.
No, I don't
For those who are unaware, his pick of Mitch McGovern for Hawthorn last week got a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot of, to be fair, but people mentioned it because they thought, why would you do that when you've got all these other players who could plug the hole? And I think Mitch McGovern's role kind of always gets misconstrued as he's not better than these guys. It's but he plugs holes. He can plug holes for a great team. So why would you take someone who, he could play a swingman role that Mitch McGovern could potentially play? Why would you want to put your preferred position player in that role? Why, when you could just bring Mitch McGovern in to play in that role while keeping your better players in those positions? So for the likes of Jarman Impey, people are like, oh yeah, you can swing him down forward and he kicks a couple of goals. But Jarman Impey's a better backman. He's better in the back. So why not bring Mitch McGovern in to help plug that hole while still keeping your best players where they want to be? Just to help you out a little bit with the defense.
Thanks, mate. Well, we're talking about Brisbane, not Hawthorn.
Sorry, I just remembered it. I had to bring it up because you, for some reason, love Mitch McGovern. So I'm here fighting battles for you. Maybe you do it yourself next time. How's that sound?
Nick Voston is the other player that I wanted to mention in that position. Still has a fair bit to give, and I think them and the Bulldogs would be the two that would try to prize him out. Sort of gives that aerial support, given Tom Doedee has not been able to be fit at all. And then the last player is someone that they are rumoured to get, not the favourites, but Connor Buderick. Just provide some depth either off half-back if they need it.
They have plenty of... Oh, shut up. I know.
Or even as a small forward, which is played this year.
It's very easy for Brisbane to convince players to come to Brisbane, if we're being honest. We know why. They're massive winners now. Oh, man. Could you imagine if they somehow bring any of that talent in?
You know what else?
On top of... Shut up. Don't want to hear it. I'm sick of your shit. I tried defending you before and you messed me up. You really, really let me down before. I thought you were going to thank me and all of that. You just... It's so cringe. He just clicked and then clicked the button on his computer like it was magic. Shut up.
Nice try, mate.
All right, what's the next segment?
As you can see, because I did it on my computer, the newsroom.
Yeah, so you got the newsroom here. We're going to have a little discussion in regards to the Brownlow medal. Yes, I did see this beforehand, but it still gives me laughs. I love this. In the Teletubby. I hate this. I hate that so much. Oh, I love and hate it. I hate
Stephen tries mention.
Yeah, Stephen tries mentioned. But there's a lot of things that I wanted to talk about in the Brownlow medal discussion, purely because we didn't get to it last week, and it was the day before. It was uploaded the day before, or a couple of days before the Brownlow happened.
Yeah. It happened. We uploaded it the day after, but we recorded it before, so we had no idea.
Yeah, that's it. That's right. I knew there was like a little kind of turnover, but Brownlow medal. Of course, the winner of the 2025 Brownlow medal ended up being Matt Rowell. Lots of interesting little... What was that? Lots of interesting little tidbits that came out of that, especially because he went out to an outrageous start. I think his first 4 rounds polled a perfect 12.
Yep.
So, unbelievable. Especially the fact that in that first half of the count, he pulled 3 votes in 4 games he was expected to get none. So very controversial in that sense. It's so hard to do it once, let alone 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
So you wonder what the umpires are thinking in a game where Matt Rowell polls 3 with 17 disposals. You wonder how the hell did he do that? But Another thing that came up, Nick Dacos is now past 100 votes. He is the first player to do so, the fastest player to do so.
I was going to say the first player to poll 100 votes.
No, there's plenty of others. Paddy Dangerfield is now at 259. He is 2 away from, I believe, the all-time record. Or no, not 2 away, but Gary Ablett's the all-time Brownlow record holder. He's very close to that.
I know he just took
He's in
over
the 260s.
3 votes.
He's in the 260s.
He just took over the most 3-vote games. I saw
that. So Nick Dacos, with no Brownlow, 100 plus in 3 years is insane. He's sitting at 109.
Yeah. The biggest talking point is obviously the Naz and Jack Viney moment.
Oh, the Jack Viney game.
Talking point.
The Jack Viney game.
Oh my God.
I forgot.
Oh my
man.
God.
They literally, dude, how funny is it that they played the replay of the final quarter, the game before, right before the North Saints game the next week, and he got 2 votes for it.
It's the ruckus in the crowd wasn't even from him getting 2 votes. It was from Jack Viney getting the 3 votes. He was the one who was responsible for it. He was on the wing and he didn't track back to go for Naz. What is he doing?
Oh, it's a pity 3 votes, it feels like.
Oh, my God.
But yeah, loads of different talking points out of it. I think third was Bailey Smith at 29. So the podium was Matt Rowell, Nick Dacos, Bailey Smith. So somewhat predictable except for the Matt Rowell. And I'm so surprised it was Matt who took it because Noah Anderson was actually the Gold Coast Sun expected to poll the highest for the Suns. So many interesting tidbits, but it brings me to my main point with this discussion. I think there needs to be absolutely no change made to the Brownlow rules. I think the way the Brownlow is done is what makes it so exciting. Sure, if you don't think it's fair, that's another thing, right? If you think that the umpires are given too much of a disadvantage, if you think that certain players' play styles, like it's almost always going to go to a midfielder, if not is always, 100% of the time. So you can have your disagreements with that, but I think the Brownlow rules that we've got now is what makes it uniquely exciting. The count, the whole thing about it, right? If we were to change the rules, it'd basically be an AFL Coaches Association 2.0 or an AFL Players Association 2.0.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, cool. They've picked the same as these guys did. Crazy stuff. And when I bring that up, I mainly point out bringing in statistics. Funny enough, the umps have actually asked in previous seasons.
So last year there was contention because the umpires asked for it after the game.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, Andrew Dillon came out and said the umpires have never asked for stats after the game.
Yeah. So is there any type of movement? Do we know if there's anyone lying in particularly or if it's just miscommunication?
We have no idea.
Yeah. So I don't believe they should be looking at statistics because it creates a unique situation, creates a award that is voted upon a impartial vote. It's not someone in a media box who isn't seeing the little things happening, looking at AFL.com going, oh, cool, 34 disposals for Nick Dacos, even though 30 of them are uncontested. That's probably a massive stretch as to the actual legitimacy. But yeah, if I'm being very unfair, that's his stat lines most of the time, but they're not. They're realistically not. But my point is, if you look at the stats, you just press AFL fantasy points. Whoever's on the top, 3, 2, 1. Unless there's someone who's kicked so many goals who just so has happened to have not gone up in there, like someone's kicked 7 goals but did it on 7 kicks, right? You'd be like, oh, they kicked 7 goals, I'll give them a vote. It just becomes a counting game, and I think that would be very boring, realistically, is the basic word I can use for it. The Brownlow is unique in that it's a massive spectacle. There's always a bit of speculation to it. And I think moments like the Naz 2 votes is just something that comes out of it that provides entertainment. It's unfair to the bloke, absolutely. But at the same time, who's to say he didn't kind of win out of it? He got the Lexus Blackburn car.
I think
he put multiple hundreds of thousands on his contract probably off that game. Like, he's winning off the field despite the fact he only got 2 votes for it. I think we can live with a few inconsistencies in the Brownlow.
There's inconsistencies, but there's also just factually wrong things. And I think when you...
They're not factually wrong, though.
But
How do you know what's factually wrong? Because they're the umpires.
Because if everyone else says it and you're the one who says no...
Yeah, I understand that they're the outlier, but that's because they're the umpires. They're not going to see everything that we see.
Well, that's my issue. If they're not seeing it because they have to umpire the game, then you need to provide them an external tool that helps them see the game in totality. If they're so focused on umpiring the game and making sure everything is correct, they're looking at whether there's a free kick off the ball, or they're making sure no one's being held at a stoppage, or they're making sure that the high tackle didn't slip high and it was just a duck instead. How are they going to be able to, in their best ability, review the game whilst they're doing all that? It is completely unfair, and they're not full-time employees. They are part-time doing this. It's not a full-time role. So I think it is completely unfair and unacceptable to expect them to do it. Provide them the stats, and it allows them to see it in a bit of a clearer scenario where, okay, Naz maybe just had that one great moment. Oh, no. He actually had 34 and 4 goals. Or Matt Rowell was really good in everything he did, but maybe he didn't do as much as someone else, like Noah Anderson, who had 42 and a goal, whereas Matt Rowell had 25 and 18 tackles. I think it provides them a greater clarity on what they're seeing with their eyes and provides them an external tool. Primary sources are great, but if you don't have secondary sources to back it up, you're not a great analytical essay writer. It is completely useless.
Analytical essay writer?
Yeah.
They're just counting Brownlow votes, mate.
It's called making a comparison.
I get that.
Get it through that thick head of yours.
I get that, but the point is, right, their ability to make or to decide who the best player is in any given game. They don't write reasonings behind every single single vote they give.
I'll give you this comparison. Have you seen the movie Moneyball?
Yes.
So you know that they went from completely eye test and just saying we're recruiting based off of what we've seen to now a statistical analysis using stats to help improve your decision making. What do the umpires need? That revolution. That's going to help improve them with their decision making. It's all it is. It's not difficult. It's giving them a stat sheet after the game.
I get that. But someone had also pointed out that it does open up the opportunity for corruption, right? Because
people have already argued that.
Yeah, but at least at the very minimum, what is your reasoning for arguing corruption with Jack Viney getting 3? What's your reasoning for that?
Because why would Jack Viney get 3 when he was the one who lost them the game?
No, in more the sense, like stopping Naz. Everyone knew Naz wasn't going to get it.
Yeah, so the one person who does bet $10,000 on Jack Viney to get the 3 votes.
Yeah. But the thing is, if that bet is there, if there's obvious links to it, of course, then there's going to be like looks into that. But I'm more saying the fact that if umpires can then get the extra time to think over it, look at the stats as well, see whether like certain players can get more votes than others based off of statistics, right? If they go off of eye test, off of what's happened in the game and in the moment, it keeps their decisions fresh. It gives them more of a grounded idea rather than just looking at statistical reasons.
I think them having more time to make a decision and get a better decision only helps. I don't think them having 10 more minutes to be able to look at the stats impacts their decision enough to the point where they're going to get done for corruption when they already have when they weren't looking at stats.
Yeah, I understand. I think maybe the corruption argument is a bit over. Like, in that sense, we're kind of looking into it a bit much because corruption, I think, would be very obvious with the Brownlow.
So Kilda's breaking the salary cap. Let's go.
I think it would be very obvious if there was corruption, especially because the AFL would be looking into bets that are happening live and they'd be like, oh, we've been tipped. Someone's clearly been tipped off that this person's got 3 votes and they're going to rise or something like that. It'd be obvious when it shows up, but at least I hope so. Nonetheless, more the point, I think it's just more entertaining. I think it's more entertaining when we don't know for certain. If we had to look at the stats and go, because everyone would maybe move maximum 3 votes up or down.
But the point, I'm not making the point where they should only look on the stats. They could very well go, these are our 3 votes. Let's take a look at the stats to make sure we haven't picked someone who we thought had a really good game who actually didn't. Jason Horne-Francis last year had a game where he got, I know that one. 2 votes for having 13 touches and 7 turnovers.
Yeah, it was a bad one.
If they had a look at the stats, they very easily wouldn't have put that as their 1 or 2 votes or whatever it was.
Yeah. I think arguments like that are fair, completely fair. Like, there's some that are just completely wild. You're like, how the hell did you did you see that happening. But I think that's what makes it unique. I think that's legitimately, I believe that is what makes the umpires vote very, very exciting, right? Because again, if we give them statistics, then I can almost guarantee you the people who win AFL coaches votes and win AFL players votes are going to be the same who win Brownlow votes.
But it's not the same people anyway.
Yeah, I understand it's not the same people, but they're all going to come to the same conclusion. And, right, some people are okay with that because then it shows who the actual best player is. But at the same time, from a fresh perspective, right, knowing who their best player was, I think that's really interesting.
I don't think stats make that much of a difference. I just think it.
Well,
only
we
helps.
wouldn't really know until they made that decision. But I really do believe that the way it is right now, they shouldn't change it. I don't think so. We went for a long time with that one.
We did.
Very passionate about our Brownlow votes here on Zero Access Footy.
Yep.
But now we're going to look at a few of our little predictions, and I'm really not excited for this one.
Neither. All of mine are I reckon
No, not all of them.
shit.
Not all of them.
I reckon all of mine
I
are
remember
shit.
one of them.
No.
No, you'll see it. You'll see it. At least the one that I'm thinking of, if it shows up.
I know one person on this, and that's because you stole it from me. And I know you don't remember it.
No, I probably don't.
And the player you're thinking I included is who you stole.
Did I?
Yes.
No.
So let's get straight into it.
It's the player I think it is.
So these was my overrated players.
Yep.
Isaac Heaney, kind of actually accurate. He definitely didn't get to the levels of last year, but
Yes.
he's not overrated. He just
To say he's third overrated in the
Yeah,
league
I-
is a big stretch.
probably wrong.
Very big stretch because Isaac Heaney
yeah.
had some fantastic game. Really, really batted
Yeah.
for them in the times that they needed him desperately.
But there was also times in the first half of the year where he wasn't able to do that. And
Yeah.
it's duality, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess it's the idea of do you think he is Brownlow material
Yeah.
compared to how he played this year?
Yeah.
Then maybe you could say he's too overrated.
Yeah.
Jesse Hogan
This
is
was only because of the Wayne Carey comments.
Yeah. I love how that came up last week too.
Yeah.
Jesse Hogan somehow gets the Wayne Carey comparisons here more than David King gives them to him. But hey, that's completely fair off that basis.
That was the only
he
reason
didn't get
was
his
there.
Brownlow. He didn't get the
Yeah.
sorry, not the Brownlow. Coleman this year. So you could argue. But
And,
he's
yeah.
very important. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
And
And it's
then-
so hard to know.
Yeah,
if
Aaron Norton, I've got one because
he's
was
honestly
just-
still up there. Legit. He is still up there because
he had a really good year,
60 goals,
but
but he's the second option.
he was the second option behind. He was only good when Sam Darcy was playing.
Exactly. Do you think he is still kicking 60 goals in a season if he does not have Sam Darcy?
I don't think so.
That's why you could say he's
Yeah.
overrated. Most overrated is contentious, but I think it's not a bad pick. I really don't. What's happened? What happened?
He's nothing.
What do you mean nothing?
I got to say something by a different mate. Never mind.
All
It's
right,
fine, it's
whatever.
fine.
Whatever. Either way, I don't think they're bad picks. I think you're 2 for 3.
I
One
go
and a
1.5.
half. One and a half. Yeah.
I'm half a person.
Right. Most overrated.
LDU's absolutely spot on.
He's up there.
As soon as he signed that contract, he was absolutely dog shit.
He
put it that
definitely
way.
is up. I'm not mad at my picks.
No,
honestly.
your picks are pretty good. I'd say 2.5. Nick Martin, it's hard to tell on that Essendon side. Connor Rose, again, got moved down to halfback, so as a midfielder, probably overrated.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think you did
I
pretty
forgot
well
I
there.
said this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then LDU, the signing. I'm off to a good start. I'm happy with this so far. Yeah. I like this. All right, what do we got next? Most underrated, Brady Hoff.
Brady, I still love the kid. He
Yeah,
played
no,
midfield minutes. He
there's
basically
positives.
turned into a tagger for part of the season. But again, West Coast is one game. Third, I'm really happy about. Alira Lear will continue to stay the most untalked about key defender in the AFL forever. And what he does without a single other player outside of Brandon Thatcher and Safa Radigalia. Like,
Yeah.
could you imagine trying to play with those two?
But your Brandon Starcevich is wrong because he's very much rated now.
He is now, but back then he wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. No, I get what you're saying.
That's correct.
But these are bold predictions. These are bold predictions.
He also missed like 2/3 of the year with concussion.
Yeah.
So-
Poor bugger.
Yeah, might retire.
Either way, I think you're... I'm honestly going one, but because half and half. Brandon Starcevich, I'm confident, is wrong because of now, right? If we're going off
But
now...
we're going at the start of the year, he was underrated, and now he's not, meaning he was underrated.
Yeah, but they're
back
bold
then.
predictions. Your point is that your prediction is he's going to be underrated for 2025.
Yeah, and he was.
I wouldn't say he was. I'd say that he's fairly rated.
Shut
he
up.
was, especially considering how important he was in the grand final. Either way, what were mine?
You absolutely
Yes!
stole this from me.
Yes!
You stole this. You bastard.
I like my Callum Wilkie pick too.
Yeah,
I think
somehow missed the All-Australian squad.
I got
Fuck
a
you,
lo-
Josh Battle.
I got a lot. Yeah, no, he missed the Australian squad. That should be one. He's the winner. And I got a bit of flack from this because I didn't know much about Wilkie at that time.
You still don't.
Not as much, not as much as you, but like I know more about Wilkie and how important he is to the St Kilda side. He's
Good
really
boy.
important. Josh Worrell, great pick, fantastic stuff. And Took Miller, he's underrated, but he's not number one. I think number one could be right there because Worrell, considering All-Australian squad, it's not like he's being underrated now. I guess
It's not now. It's based off of at the start of the year.
Okay.
Do you think...
No, I'm seeing your point now from my... Yeah, I'm getting it now. I understand. I needed two different perspectives. All right? Don't. I don't want to hear it. Either way, I'm not mad at the picks. Pretty happy with them. My picks are pretty on point now, but I know they're not going to be forever.
No. And also, we will be doing this again. And we will have a whole off-season to be able to go through every team finally.
Yeah.
And do a lot more. Because last year we started 2 weeks before the season started.
Exactly.
So, this year we started 2 weeks before the season started.
We'll have more time. Let's
That
go to
one
the
will.
next one. What's the next one?
That's it.
Really?
That's it.
I thought we had some... No, we definitely had more.
No, I couldn't find the slides for him. I know. We had the most improved player.
We had
and
most improved. I had Tom Powell. You picked Josh
I picked
Worrell.
Joshy Worrell, which is absolutely
Yeah,
spot on. And
100
that clears,
I think it's
that is one.
Really, yeah.
That is one. No, half
Crazy
The
smoky pick.
people, half the people.
If
who
you had
watched-
said Mark Keane, that would beat it.
no, I disagree.
Okay, fair enough.
I think Worrell was better.
It
than
could be
Keane.
one. It could be one or two. You could decide either.
My argument is, who outside of Adelaide fans genuinely knew who Josh Worrell was?
Yeah, I didn't for sure.
And I picked him for an AA spot.
Yeah. Good pick, mate. Well done.
The real question is, who am I going for next year?
Can you say someone North related if you're going to go off that type of record?
I can say someone North related, actually.
Say someone like Cooper Trembath or
Jai Simpkin when he's playing for Collingwood.
you're the worst. I hate everything about you. But the Coleman one was the most contentious. I think I had it. Hogan,
Coleman, and
I had
Brownlow.
Yeah. So my Brownlow was I had Anderson in there. Sarong was one. I think Dacos was in there too.
Possibly.
And then my Coleman was probably the biggest stinker. It was Hogan 1, Larky 2, Hipwood 3.
He played the entire year with a torn ACL.
Oh.
And you had a third in your Coleman.
Oh.
I think...
Bad year to pick an outsider as well for
Yeah.
Coleman because,
Yeah.
my God, the goals kicked this season were insane.
I think my Coleman was Charlie Curnow 1.
That's pretty bad too.
I had Ben King 2, I think.
Okay, that's fine.
And then I had Nick Larkey 3.
We both had Larky.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Nick Larkey had a really bad year.
He could
to
be up there
honest.
for overrated.
Yeah, based off of what he's done.
Yeah.
And then our Brownlow medal, I had Dacos 1, Sarong 2, and Anderson 3.
I may have had it because I don't think we had the exact same players, but I definitely had
Don't
Sarong 1
remember.
because of trends.
Oh,
Either way, Coleman was pretty pretty tough.
Yeah.
But that's our over/underrated players for 2025 recap. Some stinkers, some good picks. Shout out Josh Worrell. And that
Joshy.
should be the end of episode number 32 of the Zero Access Footy podcast. Thank you all so very much for tuning into this one. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, follow, leave a like, all the usuals as per all of our different places that we upload our content. It would be great to see you there. Shout out the Premiership Quarter. He's on the up. A young up-and-comer, this one.
The real goes.
The real goat. But I appreciate you all for tuning in. I'll see you all in the next episode. Cheers, guys.